the 2G case is one that has evoked a strong reaction from the public. I'm sure you agree with me on that.
Yes.
But the Supreme Court has said, quote, the right to bail cannot be denied merely because the sentiment of the community is against the accused. Was there a lynch mob mentality in this case? A lynch mob mentality in this case?
No, the country, listen, the country is not a question of lynch mob. Nobody has gone and tried to lynch them. The fact is that the country is fed up seeing that the judicial system is manipulated, particularly by rich people. They never seem to suffer anything at all. In fact, when this whole 2G, why is this 2G spectrum case has excited the people so much? Because for the first time they are seeing people at the level of ministers going to jail, whether it was for custodial purposes or whatever, but they did go to jail. Now they were hoping that this process will continue. The general public does not know the fine points of law. They think that these people are guilty. They've already made up their minds that they are guilty. And they want them to see them inside. So there is disappointment in the public. If there was a vote today, whether Kanimori should give bail or not, I will say 90% would say she should not get bail. But the fact is that ultimately judges are there to see that they are not railroaded by public sentiment.
Mr.
And I
Jethmalani.
think Justice Singhvi is one of the finest judges we have.
Yeah.
And he has very clearly said, I can't be railroaded by the public.
So was there an attempt to do that? Was there an attempt to do that? To take the popular sentiment and use that as an argument? Was there an attempt to do that? So that you take the public sentiment and you unfairly target individuals there. That had been also that was my question on the issue of the lynch mob argument.
No, there's no question of using public sentiment in this at all. I'm only saying that when the public is reacting this way, that doesn't mean the judges have to listen. In fact, it is to attribute to the judges that they have withstood what is highly popular. They are not obviously clearly, therefore, playing to the galleries. These judges have proved their bona fides in whatever they have decided. I don't like their judgment, but so what? In matters of court, somebody is going to not get his point of view upheld. But other points of view of mine have been upheld throughout. The trial court upheld the view that I held. It's in the High Court, it has been changed. This is our system. It's better than what is happening in Pakistan.
So the issue is settled here then, in that case. Mr. Jethmalani, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy says that the trial court has upheld my views in this matter. And the trial court very clearly said, I think the trial court said that the facts and circumstances of this case itself suggest that the witnesses would be under a lot of pressure given the serious consequences of the case for the parties. It did say that.
He is right, absolutely, in making that argument, but that argument is slightly wrong. As a lawyer, I can tell you that, and I don't know, this is not intended to draw any battle line with my friend Swamy. I want to tell you another thing which Swamy will like, that if Raja is guilty and he should be in jail, according to me, on the principle of collective responsibility, the whole cabinet should be in jail.
You nicely avoided the question.
Well, I'm an expert at that.
Yes, I can see. Mr. Jethmalani, you're avoiding a lot of questions tonight. It's just an observation.
Well...
But the Judge Saini of the trial court said that this is further compounded by the fact that the witnesses are employees, relatives, family members, colleagues and subordinates of the accused persons. This was the argument. I'm just completing what the trial court...
Do you know? Now, let me tell you one thing.
Yes, sir.
I had made a statement in the Supreme Court. The same argument was made against my client, Mr. Chandra, and I told the court, and in writing, I told them that whatever my employees have said to the CBI in the course of their interrogation is all true, and I don't dispute a word of it.
Mr. Jethmalani, does influence matter? Let me put it to you very simply. Does influence matter? Does influence matter?
What?
Does influence matter?
Oh my God, influence does matter. I mean, no fool can avoid it. But only tell me, good influence is good.
But in this case, you know, the other kind of influence, you know, you're one of your most celebrated clients.
No, I am telling you that nobody has been influenced in this case. The bail has not been obtained if you are insinuating as a result of any influence.
No. I'm saying, is this whole argument now settled? Because we are looking at this case in terms of precedent. The argument, this whole debate has been going on, bail or no bail. Today, the position the Supreme Court has taken, in your view, has it settled this whole debate?
According to me, now listen, please understand now. According to me, the law of bail was settled long ago. It was settled in the 78 and 1980. There are some subsequent judgments which have ignored the previous binding rulings. They are all bad judgments and per incurium, as the lawyer says. I am very happy that the Supreme Court has put the law in its proper perspective, and that is law which is consistent with our Constitution.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to make it very clear, when I referred to influence out there, we did refer to the influence in the manner in which Mr. Subramaniam Swamy had referred to it earlier, in terms of powerful people accused in the case, wielding influence over witnesses in this particular case.
Well, he is not wrong. I mean, please understand, he is not wrong in saying that influential people can sometimes do that to witnesses. But the law is that you must have displayed that tendency.
And in this case, there was none. So, Subramaniam Swamy, you have not displayed that tendency to influence witnesses. And hence, that was a basic flaw in your argument.
Well, I don't know whether it's a flaw in my argument, because after all, the judicious mind of a trial court judge also had the same view. And that was also the view of the High Court and the Supreme Court earlier, when these people came. This is not the first time they're coming for bail. They feel that the circumstances have changed. And therefore, they can take the risk of sending them and enlarging them at bail.
Absolutely. Well, let me put one fact at the very end. Yes, Mr. Jethmalani.
I think you have always a desire to score at one of the debaters and to display your intellectual superiority. I acknowledge your intellectual superiority, but please stop doing it to me, for God's sake.
Mr. Jethmalani, let me just say this, that whether in a nuanced or a direct way, today you are in a very large-hearted frame of mind. You've won the case, and you have a right to feel so. The only thing I would like to reiterate at the very end is, we all respect the courts. The courts have gone through.
But listen, please take it as a genuine expression of my real mind that I am an admirer today of what Subramaniam Swamy is doing. I make no mistake about it.
Furthermore,
yes. Absolutely.
And furthermore, in fairness to Mr. Jethmalani, it's not a question of who's winning, who's losing, it's whether the system of justice is winning. Here is a case where the Supreme Court lays down the law despite the prevailing atmosphere in the country, despite the fact that in past, the same Supreme Court took a very hard line on the question of bail. When they asked the CBI, what stand are you taking at the trial court?
Absolutely. Well, we do respect...
The system of law should be... Listen, the system of law should be ultimately decided by the Supreme Court of India and not by a television channel.
Yes, absolutely. Right. There is no attempt. And we do respect what the courts have said today. We respect the judgment, and the judgment in its full merit will be implemented. And we also respect the fact that both of you, especially Mr. Swamy, acknowledges the fact that the judgment takes into account all the factors and is still seen to be fair. Subramaniam Swamy and Ram Jethmalani, thank you very much for joining me both on the News Hour debate tonight. Thank you very much indeed.